Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. Some of you are going to hate me for this video because I'm talking common sense to you. I'm not telling you the storyline you want to hear. So Finicum, right? Rancher, killed by FBI, state police, whoever. Videos out of the drone or the airplane flying around the whole incident. Pretty long video if you watch the whole thing. You see him get shot. The world is kind of dividing into two camps on the internet. You know, the one camp is, yep, he was shot reaching for a gun. And the other is like, no, man, he had his hands up and they murdered him. Okay. It really doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think either, but you're listening to me. It matters what is. And let me tell you, I guess a saying we used to have in the military. We used to say, hope is not a method. Meaning, you can't hope something's going to turn out a certain way, and that's going to make it happen. My mother used to say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Wishing doesn't make it so. Planning, thinking. One should be able to apply logic to a situation and to a little bit out into the future and see how this is going to end. I understand law enforcement in this country better than the vast majority of Americans who are not law enforcement by virtue of my past. I have trained or trained with, closely, over 1,000 individual law enforcement officers in the course of my life. Everything from, a little local municipality, a little city that had 6 police officers, to county deputies, sheriff's deputies, to state police SWAT teams, to the FBI, to, yes, even HRT. I did a joint exercise with HRT one time. And so I've hung out with them, and I've barbecued with them, and I've been to their houses, and, And so I have some friends who are cops. Not many, but a couple. And I have a fairly good understanding of cops. And you know what? In general, cops are good guys, right? They're good Americans. They're married. They have kids. They're patriotic. They like guns. They think you should have guns. They don't think criminals should have guns, but they think you should have guns. Their wives have guns. They're good people. Are there bad cops? Yeah, there's bad cops. Are there bad doctors? Yeah. And bad firemen? Yeah. So it is what it is. But most of them are pretty good guys. But there are some realities when dealing with the police. And an example is, if a police officer says, hey, sir, I'm going to need you to step out of your car. You're coming out of the car. One way or another, you're coming out of the car. You have the immediate choice to say, yes, sir, and get out of the car. Or you could start giving him lip, and he's going to drag you through the window. Or you could try and run. And then they're going to catch you, and one way or another, you coming out of the car. All right? So there's that reality. Another reality. If the police officer knows who you are, and he says, hey, Bob, or hey, Mr. Johnson, I need you to turn around and place your hands behind your back. You're going to end up in handcuffs. Okay? It does. You are going to end up at that point, you're going to end up in handcuffs. The decision has been made. It doesn't matter if it hasn't gotten through your brain yet. It doesn't matter if your brain's swirling. You're not going to talk your way out of it. You're not going to fight your way out of it. You could fight your way out of it in the short term. You might be able to. You might be able to get the drop on the officer and take off and run. The world is coming after you. If it takes it, the 82nd Airborne is going to come after you and get you, and you're going to end up in handcuffs. And so you have to understand that when that happens, certain things are going to follow from that. Another thing, if one takes over a federal facility, even if it's an empty, unoccupied at the time, glorified rest stop in the middle of the woods, but it's owned by the federal government, and you take it over and make a thing about it, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to lose. You're not going to hold that thing, and once you've taken that action, you're going to end up in silver bracelets. It's going to happen. I don't know. I still, I see I'm flummoxed, right? A little bit. I still can't understand where these guys thought this was going when they did that. Did they really think like the entire militia of the United States was going to rise up and come to their aid? Did they think that the militia was going to no more Wacos and start taking local action all over the place? If they did, hope is not a method. They certainly didn't have a plan. They hadn't talked to everybody ahead of time and said, okay, we're going to do this and then you guys do that, okay? That never happened. And so from the moment they took that place over, they were going to end up in silver bracelets. It's just going to happen. Now, you could go to court, have your day in court, and win. That could maybe happen. Or get off, with probation or whatever for trespassing, whatever. But the bottom line is you're going down after that. So this thing drags on. And then this guy, Finicum, he made statements recorded on video, sent out to the world, and then widely reported by the press over and over again that were basically, if you want to, you can look it up and actually see him sitting there in his chair with the tarp and saying the words, I'm not going to end up in a cell, or, they won't take me alive, something like that. I'd rather die than go to jail, something like that. You have to understand what that means to law enforcement. If you tell the coppers, you'll never take me alive, ha. Okay, what you're telling them is, I will shoot at you. I will employ lethal force against you to keep you from doing this to me. Because if I say to you, you're not taking me alive, well, then that means if you come and we start wrestling, I'm not going to let you wrestle me. If you bring 6 guys, okay, 6 guys can beat me in a wrestling contest. They could throw me down, tie me up, put handcuffs on me. But I've already told you, that ain't happening. You're not taking me alive. So what is really logically the only recourse I have against 6 guys who are intent on making me do something that I don't want to do? Deadly force, right? I'm going to use my firearm. Oh, and then it's known that you carry a firearm, okay? And your peers around you are carrying firearms. What law enforcement then does is say, this guy right here is very dangerous. Watch out for this guy. He has said he will not be taken alive, which means he'll kill you. And you won't go home and hug your wife and 3 little kids if you try and arrest him. When he said that, did he think the cops would go, oh, FBI, state police, whoever, oh, well, I guess if he's that serious about it, we'll just let him go? No, that's not going to happen. When it's time to take him down, they're going to take him down. And so he goes to that roadblock. You can watch the video. He's sitting there for a long time not complying. Now, see, I couldn't hear anything on the video, could you? No, but I know how these road stops go. I know how these things go. And they're telling him, driver, roll down the window and throw out your keys. Driver, step out, walk backwards towards me, yada, yada, yada. It's called a felony stop. They're trying to do that. They're not doing anything. When you do not comply with the orders of law enforcement, their stress level goes up. Because it's like, he's not listening to me. I'm going to now, therefore, have to escalate to enact my will on this person. Do not misunderstand. Hope is not a method. They are going to enact their will upon you. If it takes them bringing in tanks, they're going to do it. Okay, so you got to think these things ahead, think these things through ahead of time if you plan on being in a situation like that. So they sit there for a while and then they take off. They were sitting there long enough against the FBI, it looked like the HRT, that they knew who everybody was in the car because they're looking at them. They know who is who and who is sitting where in the car, and all of that information is reported to the roadblock up ahead. And so when that car goes up there and crashes into the snowbank, almost hits a stupid police officer, whoever he was, who jumped out in front of the car. What were you thinking? He wasn't either. When Finicum got out of the car, they knew it was him. Okay? Now, again, I don't know what they're saying, but I think they were probably saying, get your hands up, freeze. Get your hands up, freeze. If you watch the video, he ain't freezing. He's moving forward. He's moving towards the cops at a fairly high rate of speed. The cops, their report is he charged the police officers. People look at that and go, he didn't charge them. When you're not stopping and you're moving towards them, and fairly rapidly, if you watch it, he's walking pretty fast. Okay. Definition of terms, he's not complying. He has said he won't be taken alive. He's trying to close the distance between me and him. And then either he got shot at that point, or I think probably he put his hand down to his waist where he had a gun in his pocket. He got shot. Either way, he got shot. Hands up or not, he's not stopping. If he had wanted to live in that situation, what he would have done after he already screwed up and drove away and crashed in a snowbank is roll down the window and keep his hands very high and not move until told to do so. He didn't want to live. He said himself he'd rather die than go to jail. Well, he got his wish. And I'm here to tell you, when you tell law enforcement, or for that matter, you tell soldiers who are on certain missions, you'll never take me alive, silently, they say to themselves, Roger that. Your choice, buddy. Capture kill missions. Yeah. Some guys you can capture, some guys you can't. Either way, they're not going to win. And so he made a choice. He made a choice that he wasn't going to be taken alive. He wasn't. He died there in the snow. It wasn't murder. My God, if they had wanted to kill everybody in that car, they could have. They could have, articulated a reason. I saw somebody in the car lifting up a firearm. They were all armed, and they could have said that after the fact, and they could have just sprayed that car with machine gun fire and killed everybody in the car. They didn't. They didn't want to do that. I'm telling you, they would have rather taken that guy to jail and put him on trial. But it is what it is. If the guys are still left, out there, 4, 5, 6 guys, whatever, real brainiacs those guys are. They've got videos out too. It's only going to end one way. Them in handcuffs. Or them dead. Or maybe both. Sometimes they shoot you and put you in handcuffs just in case. It doesn't matter woulda, coulda, shoulda, people. It matters what is. There's a lot of people out there, internet warriors, militia warriors on the internet saying this, that, and the other thing. Yada, yada, yada. We're all going to rise up. This is it, man. This was the spark. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Bad cause, bad time, bad plan, bad, all around. And ended up like the way Finicum wanted it to. Suicide by cop. That's what I call it. Hate me if you want, but that's the truth. All right. I'll see you out there.